Today on episode 26 of the Home of Play podcast, Ubisoft post suggests we won't get full backwards compatibility on the PS5. Sony is looking to acquire more studios, and Cyberpunk won't fill your hard drive. Chill, bro. All that and more.
Let's hear that intro. What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to episode 26 of the Home of Play podcast, where every Monday the two best friends join forces to give you all the latest in PlayStation rumors, news, and reviews, and that's because we're the true PlayStation fans. I'm your host, Steve, and with me I'm joined by the king of platinum trophies himself, Christopher.
Hello, hello.
If you like this and would like to support the Home of Play podcast, then please head over to our YouTube page and consider subscribing, maybe even dropping us a like if the spirit moves you, a wink. If you already are listening to this on our YouTube channel, then please feel free to listen to it on any podcast service of choice, including such as Spotify and Apple. Maybe even think of giving us 5-star review on those services as well. It would be extremely appreciated. We could also use your help making others aware through the power of word of mouth. Every month we are growing, and it's all because of you lovely gamers helping to spread the cause. On top of all that, if you have a burning comment, question, or complaint, we want to hear from you. Please send either of those to our email address, homeofplaypodcast@gmail.com, or by leaving any of those on our YouTube videos, as we're always looking for those as well, and then we can read it on the show or while we debate if Marvel's Avengers is worth your hard-earned money. On today's episode, we have 8 news articles to discuss, but before all that, as always, what have we been up to this week, Chris?
Not too much. Week 2 of the vacation. Been pretty slack. Haven't done too much. Fixed a couple things around the place. As far as gaming goes, I had an indie game that I can't remember if I got for free or if I picked it up at one point called Claire. It's kind of a 2D side-scrolling horror type of game. It's pretty good. It's short, like 3 hours. I played it twice on normal difficulty and then the hardest difficulty to get all the trophies, which I succeeded in. And then I've been extremely bored. So lots of Netflix, just bouncing between tons of random shows. And then I turned on Final Fantasy X, the remaster. So I was pretty much right at the end, final boss of that. But now I'm starting to do the grind. Trying to max out the sphere grid, which is just ridiculously time consuming. I think for the last 3 or 4 days, I've just been fighting the same monsters over and over again. Even with the kind of the Tonberry trick, it still takes forever just to move everybody around, getting all the empty nodes filled with other different stat boosts. Yeah, just so time consuming. Right now, I'm pretty much almost done. I could probably finish it tonight. And then a couple more bosses I got to do, a couple more Dark Aeons, and then the final bosses like Penance and Nemesis I still got to do. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It hasn't been a very productive week, but yeah, I guess I'm just waiting for the next game to play. I don't know, like, what is the next game? I guess Watch Dogs?
It depends what you want. Like for me, it's Mafia. The other one we forgot about that I just saw in the background is, I think, Kingdoms of Amalur is coming out, the Re-Reckoning. Yeah. So I'm like, I might pick that up because as I spoke about last week, I was interested in Dragon Age Inquisition, if I speak words. And I just lost all interest in it. It is definitely, I thought it was just me last time. I did get further, but not enjoying it anymore.
That's pretty much it for me. So you kind of started on what you were doing, but anything else?
Yeah, no, all week it was Dragon Age, and I think, I want to say Thursday, I just hit the wall, and I was finally like, you only cost me $20, so I'm not too upset. You know, I got a week out of it. Just not what I was hoping for. It's not, in my opinion, it's just not as good as the first Dragon Age Origins, but I think it was called Origins. I can't remember. But yeah, it just wasn't, I don't know, wasn't feeling it. So anyway, I did the worst thing possible. And despite all our warnings, I purchased Marvel's Avengers anyway. So no. I know, I failed myself. But I don't know, I do hear some people saying it's better than the beta was. I don't know how that's going to be true. I'm just going to have to feel it out, try it out. And at worst case scenario, there's a couple of buddies I know. And maybe I'll just have a good time being Thor in the background, throwing hammers at people. Like a really disgruntled carpenter or something. You didn't pay him. I don't know. It's a good time. So yeah, other than that was basically it. Much like yourself, just a lot of Netflix. Me and my wife are rewatching Haunting on Hill House, and god damn, is that show good? Like ridiculous good. Even watching a second time, there's so many things that I'm privy to this time around that I wasn't before. So then I'm picking up on those. I'm like, damn, this show is written well. I don't know. I really enjoy it. Like, you know, I'm a horror guy, so I love anything that way. And it's just, I've never really liked a horror series. I always feel like, you know, trying to stretch it out usually is almost a detriment to the whole experience. So I'm just like, no, this one's the first one I could actually recommend, I think, to anyone.
Anything else you've been working on? We were supposed to do The Division.
Yeah, we were. And then, I mean, I told you about my week.
Yeah.
I was still not happy.
But you bought Marvels instead of The Division.
It was only because I don't know, 4 other people got it, and they're like, we could all be the Avengers together, and I'm like, the 5-year-old Steve's like, do it. And I'm like, okay, like if I have to be Thor, which I want to be, and eventually we'll get Spider-Man, and that will like I think what we talked about last week, where his movement's not going to be great, like, you know. Who's interested in seeing Spider-Man walk down like a underground corridor? But it's still like, you know, the costumes and all that stuff, and like, yeah, loot's going to be useless, so I'm not looking forward to that. But it's just going to be one of those games that's going to be good as long as I'm playing with someone else.
It kind of makes me remember the actual like the Spider-Man game, the more recent one. It's like I'm starting to realize it's like all the fights were like outside in a courtyard or on an open roof. It's like no in the halls or anything.
There was a few times, like the stealth missions where you had to go in the warehouse.
Where they really want you to use stealth. But I'm like, it's like the bad guys would win if they just went one floor into the building.
They're like, Spider-Man's just staying outside. He's like, damn.
Yeah. I am defeated.
Yeah, I was going to get the Vulture, but he went inside.
He went inside.
He literally
He'll come out.
Removes his wings and he just walks inside. Spider-Man's like, damn it.
Oh, well, next day.
So yeah, no, that was all for me as well. A lot of Netflix and chill. Well, minus the chill, if you know what I mean.
Chill in the sense that you're actually just chilling.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm still just looking forward. Like I said, Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning hopefully will be good. So I'm looking forward to that sometime in mid-September, I believe, and then Mafia. So I do have some things that I'm excited for. And then, like you said, after that, we got Watch Dogs. And
yeah, like I'll look at those two, but I don't see myself committing to those ones right now. So.
Oh, you wait. If you're this bored.
If I'm this bored right now, and like Watch Dogs isn't for like till the end of the point. No, it's not even. It's 2 months still. Why September?
See, honestly,
why is September here?
At this point, I think I could literally get you to buy like a cat turd attached to 2 elastic bands. Like that's how bad. Yeah, exactly. Attached to a trophy, and then you will buy it. So,
I'm still gonna cave on something stupid unless I can find. Like I have. Don't get me wrong. I have tons of backlog of games. I just don't want to play them. I don't even know why I'm playing Final Fantasy. I think it was just because it was there. And it was like I looked at all my other games and I didn't feel like doing one of the story ones, like you know, like Man of Medan. Yeah, like I have that on the backlog plus a couple others. I was looking more at that Erica game, and then I'm like, meh.
Yeah,
and just the story didn't.
I get you. I'm definitely.
You gotta be in those moods for those.
Yeah,
ones for
well,
sure.
for me, I'm always mood oriented. Like I just, you know, like we talked about Dishonored, and so I just lose certain moods for certain games, and then I just cannot bring myself. Like even Persona, like I love it absolutely. I just. For some reason, I'm like, no, I don't feel like a JRPG right now, and I just can't force myself into it because then it just dampens the experience, and then I'm not gonna like remember these things as highly as I want to.
November is gonna just kill us with all the games coming out.
Well, and that's why it's funny that we're whining now, but then November hits, and we're just gonna be so in like, I'm gonna be in debt probably because all these games, and then I'm just, and then where do you find the time? Because so many of them are gonna be like, I'm assuming 60 hours plus, if not more. Like Cyberpunk, for some reason, feels like it could be 100 plus hours. The last Assassin's Creed was like 80 hours for me, so I don't know. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Miles Morales, damn. Like, there's so much stuff. Whew. That is going to be a busy month. Well, even October, like, it's not going to be packed.
Not till the end, which is pretty much November. So.
Damn it, you're right. We're screwed. We're screwed.
We're screwed, guys.
We're not even going to be done Watch Dogs before we freaking get all these other games.
Yeah, we're going to have to, like, fly through Watch Dogs.
damn.
but enjoy it.
Yeah.
But they haven't showed much. Like if they're continuing with co-op.
That's why, like,
from
I'm
the second
honestly now that I'm thinking about like how busy we're gonna be. I'm like, just enjoy Marvel's Avengers for what it is now, and then I'll be so busy that by the time I come back, hopefully it's a better game.
Yeah.
And like, and I'm saying that now, I haven't actually even touched the final product yet. So, I'll definitely have more for you guys next week.
I'm one to usually cave, but I don't think I'm going to cave on this one.
Yeah, you got a moral ground to stand here.
No moral ground. I just didn't want to. I don't want to do it. Don't want to do it.
But I need a Hulk in my group
I'd
an Iron Man.
rather go back and play the X-Men Legends.
Because me, you, and another buddy could play, and then you could be the Iron Man.
Don't do it. Shields up.
And then
Shields
he
up.
wants to be Black Widow, and I could be Thor, the God of Lightning. Yeah. And then, so anyway, that's enough of our sad September lives.
Yeah.
And we're going to move forward to our 8 articles.
Starting with article number 1, Ubisoft might have just revealed PS5's lack of backwards compatibility. In a post on Ubisoft's support page posted this week, we learned that the eagerly anticipated next-gen console from Sony may not in fact have the backwards compatibility we all hoped for. According to Ubisoft, backwards compatibility will be available for supported PS4 titles, but will not be possible for PS3, PS2, or PlayStation 1 games. Even worse, later the detailed post was removed from the support page. On the plus side, though, the support page also notes that their PlayStation 4 titles would work cross-generation with the PlayStation 5, which is at least something for those looking to play cross-gen with their friends in the upcoming Watch Dogs Legion.
What are your feelings on this, Chris?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to believe. I don't know what to believe. Like, I understand Ubisoft says that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that just applies to them. Maybe they're talking about Ubisoft's PlayStation 3 games, PS2, PS1 games. For them,
yeah,
they're not going to work on making it compatible for the next gen.
Yeah,
that's maybe what they're talking about. Like, I don't expect to play the first Assassin's Creed on my PlayStation 5. I don't expect for that to work. So that could just be what they're leaning towards in this support thing. But I don't know. I don't know.
And they could be referring to just certain types of like how we're getting backwards compatibility. Like for me, I'm like, is this like disc based? They're saying like, oh no, you can't do this, or if it's digital and you're going from the store, let's say on your PS5 and you're scrolling through your PS4s. I assume that's going to work, but obviously you can't do the PS3, PS2, PS1 titles. So. And then we were talking about previously, like if Sony does implement something down the road that let's say PlayStation Now is going to be your only way of getting that backwards compatibility. Maybe this is just getting ahead of that.
Yeah.
And that's honestly where
that.
I feel that. I do, unfortunately, and this is just in my own head, but like I look at this and I'm like, okay, we might not get it at launch.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, yeah, I agree. Like, I think PlayStation, Sony as a whole is going to have to try to combat the Xbox Game Pass in some way or form. And PlayStation Now, as it is today, doesn't compete with it at all, really.
It's starting to by allowing some games to be downloadable.
It's just not enough content.
100%.
And then it just needs more content. And like, I know the PlayStation Network's trying to sell you PS1, PS2, PS3 games standalone.
Yeah.
But maybe they got to start getting away from that and start including it in the PlayStation Now service.
Yeah.
And then there's also talk in my head where I'm wondering if the PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus is going to combine at some point. I don't know how they're going to do it. Well, I know how they would do it. I just don't know how would that affect our price. Would it go up? Would the PlayStation membership go up by $4? Like, I don't know. Like how
it'd be rough because then
they don't want to go too high because then they're just gonna shoot themselves in the foot.
I think people are, I don't want to say like thrilled, but they're okay paying their like $60 a year or whatever. But if you told them suddenly you're going from that to like, no, now we're like strong arming you into being a monthly $8-10 service, like, well, now it's up a bit, and it's just like, I don't know. I assume some people don't want like a monthly service like that, and
yeah, unless they kind of drop the play multiplayer games online as part of the PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they'll do, is they'll kind of maybe just drop PlayStation Plus. Because, I mean, I don't know. There's so many ways they could do it, and
I think they might just offer a multi-tier system. Do you want just the online capability? Buy this. Do you want PlayStation Now? Buy this. Do you want both?
Yeah.
And get your backwards compatibility? Well, here's like an all-in-one.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that could be the way to go.
But either way,
They have options.
I just don't see backwards compatibility being at launch anymore, which is upsetting. But I could see that maybe a year down the line, hopefully only a year down the line, not 2.
Yeah, and it would likely be a service and probably not physical copies.
And which probably means we're not going to see everything.
Well, and that's, to me, backwards compatibility. The value in backwards compatibility is being able to put that PS2 disc in my PS5.
Yeah.
And I don't see that happening.
No.
Based off of what we're hearing, sort of seeing. Then we got Sony sitting in the corner saying, I'm not going to tell you.
Oh.
And it's like, just tell us.
Just tell us anything.
Like, jeez. But, yeah. I guess that's pretty much it.
Okay, moving on to Article 2. Warner Brothers is too valuable. In a recent article from Bloomberg, we have learned that AT&T is no longer interested in selling off Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. According to sources, AT&T now finds the WBIE asset too valuable to sell. Good news for us, considering it was rumored only a few months back that none other than Microsoft was interested in acquiring the entire division. AT&T is reportedly still $154 billion in debt, but it looks like the company will find other means to pay this off. What do you think, Chris? Are we happy? Are we sad?
Well, I mean, we got, at least this is confirmation, right?
Yeah, because we talked about this. Yeah, you mentioned that, like, we talked about this only like a week or 2 ago.
It was all rumors.
But it was rumors. But now, yeah, it sounds like, honestly, I think, now that I'm remembering better, the previous article was based off an email that sent to staff saying, like, don't worry, guys, don't worry. But you don't know how to take that, because I've seen a lot of companies say stuff and be like, you're cool. And then next week it's like,
shutting down.
Yeah, all your health plans are gone now. And then the week after that, your office is missing. It's just like, wait, what? So, no, this is good to hear. Like, I'm happy. Like, I'm not thrilled with the games they revealed, but I need them to stay together so I can get that Harry Potter RPG.
Warner Brothers is now not on Craigslist.
Yeah, exactly right.
No, I mean, okay, this is good. I mean, 154 billion in debt. That just seems like at some point, don't you go bankrupt?
Well, they apparently recently purchased a bunch of crap, like
to balance out the books.
It's like on-demand stuff. Some other Time Warner, I can't remember. They bought some stuff. I just can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's how they put themselves in debt, and then they were looking to sell this as a quick buck. But now I think they looked and like, wow, you're actually more valuable than all this other crap.
This is the only division that's profitable.
Exactly.
So, yeah, no, it's good for them. As far as game-wise goes, would it have affected too much? Who knows?
Mortal Kombat. Don't take my Mortal Kombat.
Don't touch your Mortal Kombat.
No. Like, if Microsoft would have bought it and then they could have used them as a first party, they could have just, every few months been like, okay, this guy was working on this reveal. This guy's working on this, another reveal, it would have been scary. I would have lost a lot of properties I have emotional attachment to.
Interested in you.
Yeah. But anyway, going on to Article 3.
Save the date. We have another Ubisoft Forward event on its way. Via a teaser trailer from Ubisoft this week, we have learned that the company intends to give us our next look into future game releases through their new Ubisoft Forward event format. The event will take place on September 10th at 1 p.m. Pacific and will feature some new game reveals, apparently. Rumored to be appearing in the next Forward event is the Prince of Persia remake. We discussed that on the show a few weeks earlier?
I think it was 2 weeks, maybe.
Yeah. And the new game Immortals Phoenix Rising, which was the formerly titled Gods and Monsters game. Though I'm sure we will see smaller updates to previously announced titles as well.
This is, good. More reveals is great,
I like news.
I'm a little, I guess this is almost 2 stories because I didn't feel like it needed its own story, but, Gods and Monsters being retitled. Apparently some screens leaked and a possible release date leaked for December 3rd, and they're saying now it looks less cartoony, and then they changed it to this Immortals title, which sounds worse, honestly. Gods and Monsters sounds way cool.
Mm-hmm.
Way better than whatever Phoenix Rising is.
Yeah, I don't know, is Phoenix the character? I haven't really followed this one very much, so I'm not that much in the loop. Did we get a confirmation that Prince of Persia remake is the original Prince of Persia, or not the original, but the first next gen version?
Not that I'm aware of.
No.
I still don't think we know exactly
Like
what
the
it is.
screenshot that they used was the Sands
Yes.
of Time one I saw. But,
And I hope it's that one personally.
yeah, I
but-
think so. Yeah, that would be a fun one, and hopefully they just I want a remake, but add to it too. Like
Yeah.
that game's all about puzzles. It's not hard to just add more puzzles.
Well, and I never completed it, but I think you told me it's kind of on the shorter end.
It's on the shorter end.
So,
I
yeah,
can't
if
remember
they-
how much off the top of my head,
If
but
they add some stuff, that would probably be very welcomed.
yeah. So that would be exciting.
So yeah, I don't know. I hope to see some other things from this. I know there's not too much to expect. I think now that we have an understanding of what this Ford event is, the first one, though, it somewhat disappointed me by really only talking about, I don't know, 3 real games in my opinion. Like, yeah, they said like, oh, this mobile thing, and here's I don't know, some other weird release. And I guess if it's Ubisoft, they might be talking about that Division update coming out
Yeah, could
too.
be. Yeah, I
So-
mean they have a lot of
Oh, they got a lot.
properties, so
yeah.
they have a lot to work with. So we could get some new stuff, could get some old stuff, could get a little bit.
But
of
I think
mix.
my expectations are brought down, so
Yeah,
to a
no.
reasonable level. So when I watch it, I'm like, okay, let's just look for these 2 things. Don't get overhyped. Like, they're not just going to be like, oh, we were just kidding. Assassin's Creed's out today, and it's just like, oh
What?
wow, like awesome. Like, so yeah, like I don't know. It just tempers the expectations. I think it should be enjoyable.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, it's just to see more about this. Not Gods and Monsters now.
Yeah, the Phoenix Rising
Yeah,
from the ashes.
but I don't
But
know
not
who
spelled
he
like
is. So
Phoenix.
why would you put his name in the title? But whatever.
But yeah, so keep your eyes out for September 10th, 1 p.m. Pacific. Moving on to article number 4.
Yes, please. I'll have more frame rate for Ratchet and Clank Rifts Apart. Last week on the Gamescom live event gave us another look into the forthcoming Ratchet and Clank title. Alongside the new videos and feature showcase, we also got an interview with Famitsu with the Insomniac Games, where the developer noted that we can look forward to performance mode feature. According to the article, Rifts Apart will allow you to boost the standard 30 frames per second to 60 frames per second. We have heard about this offer from Insomniac's other future title, Miles Morales, and we can only assume that the performance mode will also be at the cost of certain other visual features like ray tracing or through other means, perhaps. Chris, are you sad, happy?
Well, for this specific game, I don't know if I'm going to be getting this specific game. The Miles Morales for sure. I think I've gotten used to, I don't want to say I'm used to 30 frames per second, but I've pretty much gotten used to the 30 frames per second on console games.
Yeah.
Trust me, like hands down, I think the first thing that should be improved with the next gen system is everything should be 60 frames per second. I would rather have them take a hit somewhere else or just give you the 60 frames per second.
Yeah, the problem is like we're always messing that up. Like even the current gen we're on, that was always the dream too. Everyone thought the PS4 and the Xbox One would be the 60 frames that we weren't getting on
They
PS3.
just have some sort of fetish with 30 frames per second. It's like they just don't want to leave that mark.
Well, that's why
And then
I
you play
was-
something like Ghost of Tsushima where it's
Yeah.
like the smoothest freaking butter game where it's like just come on. Like I don't think Ghost was 60 frames
No.
per second, but it felt really smooth in how it worked.
Yeah, you weren't getting like dips or not too many. I think maybe I got one.
But like I can remember like playing Uncharted 4 I can't remember what the subtitle of it was, but Uncharted 4 when you're playing the game, I think it was 30 frames per second. But when you switch to multiplayer mode, it was 60 frames per second. It's like, "Oh my god, this is amazing."
yeah.
So it's like, just give us whatever. Let us giving us the option's great.
Yeah.
So we can switch it off.
I
and
do
on.
like that they're giving us the option at least, because that was my biggest complaint with the next gen is I'm like, why are you talking about 4K? At the time at least, the 2080 Ti was like the strongest card. And even that wasn't going to get 60 frames of 4K. So I was disappointed that we're even talking about 4K when you weren't even getting us
I
1080p
know.
60.
I would rather them have 1080p 60 frames per second. Focus on that before
Yes.
trying to get 4K 30 frames per second.
Yeah. So seeing this though, it's almost like a middle ground at least. So it's like,
Yeah.
for people like me, as long as you're guaranteeing me a good 4K experience at 30 frames per second, I'll be okay with that. But I know that's not good enough for a lot of people that like first-person shooters.
Oh yeah.
You always get that toss back where it's like,
Sluggishness.
yeah, so good for those people. But like Miles Morales, if I'm getting a TV for this next generation, I'm going to want the better looking experience.
Yeah, especially for cross-play games too. I don't want the PC player potentially having 60 frames per second where the console player is only getting 30. Like,
Yeah.
screw you guys. Like, mind you, I'm a PC gamer too, but it's like I would make sure it's balanced and the same for everybody.
Oh, exactly.
Bring them down.
Moving on to Article 5.
No, Cyberpunk won't fill your hard drive up. Recent speculation online has gamers wondering what the final file size will be for Cyberpunk 2077. At the NVIDIA event that took place on September 2nd, people noted the game looked almost too good and started to panic that the title would take over your entire hard drive. Fortunately, developer CD Projekt Red, doing what they usually do, being great, has released a statement from the Twitter account to put people's little hearts at ease. According to dev team, in quotes, the game won't take up 200 gigabytes when installed. You can expect the required hard drive space to be on par with your modern titles. So rest easy, fellow gamers. No need to go out and buy a multi-terabyte hard drive quite yet.
Yay.
Yay.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It just sounds like another thing that the internet picked apart out of here. Like, they just grabbed it out of the air and they're like, this is a problem. I have no evidence, but this is a problem. Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, and even if it was 200 gigs, like, I don't know, Red Dead was like, what, over 90? Like,
yeah, it was pretty big. I think it was over 100 after
me and you
online.
are complaining all the time that, like, a Warzone is 150.
Oh, my God.
So it's like, you know, if Cyberpunk's 200, which it's not, but if it was, I wouldn't care because it's a huge game and it looks great.
Yeah. I mean, I understand people don't want it to be too big, and that makes sense to me.
Probably because they know the people with, half the internet speed of us, and they're like, and ready to download, and it says like 18 days until ready. It's like, damn it.
The nice advantage is right now I'm finishing everything on my console, so I'm gonna have lots of free space by the time that comes out, which I'm gonna need because I can't imagine this game plus Assassin's Creed being installed, probably still Watch Dogs at the time, maybe Call of Duty if I cave and buy it. I'm on the fence right now because of all their shady tactics with their how much they're selling it for and all that kind of crap, and making people pay for the upgrade. That's kind of why I'm protesting Control. Separate topic. But yeah, so I'm going to probably need the hard drive space when that comes out, so we'll have to see. But I mean, they're not saying they're saying it won't be 200 gigabytes, but that doesn't necessarily mean it won't be 199. So,
I wouldn't doubt if it's at least 100.
At least 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, it was just people essentially just going wild with this story. I mean,
it's almost like Twitter was invented for it.
Yeah, nobody wants the game to take up that much space, and I think if a game's properly optimized, example, not Call of Duty, then there's no reason for it to take that much space.
You mean PUBG doesn't take 150 gigs?
No, but it does do ridiculously painful patches.
Oh, okay.
Where it's like you get.
But
like
so does
10
Call
gig
of
patches.
Duty. So
yeah, there's times where I think Call of Duty had to re-download the whole thing again.
Oh.
Like you get a patch, or you get too far out of date where it's like, I'm just gonna reinstall the whole thing, and you're like, no, don't do that. And you're like, well, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Moving on to article number 6.
Marvel's Avengers is now PlayStation's most downloaded beta in history. Crystal Dynamics has come forth and revealed that their next title, Marvel's Avengers, is now, this is quotes, globally the most downloaded beta in PlayStation history. It's not currently clear, however, what numbers they were using to make this claim. Are they using all 3 separate beta events into one big number to achieve this new record, or is it simply that the last open beta, that was the actual free-for-all of all platforms to participate in? No one is certain. As it stands, though, clearly they have a mega hit on their hands, and whether the title is deserved or not, time will only tell. Chris, does this also make you happy, sad, happy?
I wonder the same things you wonder. It's like,
yeah,
are they going off the beta being 3 weeks? Because there was the first week, which was for pre-order people, and the second week was just PlayStation people, and then the third week was PlayStation everybody.
And that's why, like exactly how you said it, all 3 of those were PlayStation. Because even the first one that was pre-orders only, it was pre-orders only PlayStation.
You're right.
The second one was pre-orders only Xbox PC, but open for everyone PlayStation. And then the third one was open for everyone. So all 3 weeks were PlayStation centric. So if they're combining all 3 numbers to get that record, kind of feels like cheating to me.
It's hard. We don't know what their numbers are.
And it could actually be legit because, again, it's Avengers. It has some pull, right? Like,
oh yeah,
and if it's free, who's not going to try that?
Mm-hmm. Why not? And like I said, most people aren't doing too much at the moment, so
yeah,
this is a good time for betas. I mean, if I mean, this is specific to PlayStation, but I'm like, there's some games that have been out for 7 years that are still technically beta.
It's just interesting, and like I said, I'm more fascinated by the question of like, give me how you got these numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Not that like I can imagine too many other major betas out there. Like,
yeah, I'd like to know what's the top 5.
Yeah,
just for comparison. Like, somebody tell us what the top 5 is.
Yeah,
I mean, I could probably look it up, but I don't care that much.
It was an Anthem. Moving on to Article 7.
Sony wants to acquire more developers. News from a recently filed Sony corporate report suggests the company is still looking to acquire more studios. Also, due to the success of the recent ported to PC Horizon Zero Dawn, it sounds like Sony would also like to port even more of its currently exclusive titles to the PC landscape. Other rumors that have surfaced over the week have also suggested Sony might be thinking of releasing more exclusive titles within a tighter time frame of each other, possibly because of the recent success that The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima saw, even though those two titles released a mere month apart from each other.
So yeah, we got, I don't know who else is like that I want them to buy, honestly. Get WBIE. Like,
what company re-released Horizon Zero Dawn?
I don't. Well, I think all they did was ported.
But it's maybe that's the developers they're looking for, is like a
that's true
company that just ports,
or people that are more into PC, like they know that landscape better. You
the
know?
advantage of us being Sony fans is we don't care if they port it to PC because we've already played it and done it on. I mean, this helps people who don't necessarily want to.
That's my like. I don't know. Maybe that's a separate article, but I'm a little scared because I don't want everything to go to PC. Like, you know, otherwise we're gonna have the same kind of condescending thing we say about Xbox, about how it's like, okay, like that's great that you have this one game, but it's like, I'm just gonna play it on PC anyway. I don't want that to be the same. But if they do in this timely manner they have with, like, you know, how was it, 2-3 years and then Horizon comes out for PC, well, that is fine. You know, if you want to release God of War now on PC, fine. Spider-Man in a year, fine. And then
give it a good guess,
because then I could see the business aspect of like, okay, you got them into that game. Now they love that series, but they're not going to want to wait 4 years after you release Horizon 2 on the PS5,
well, it's
right?
possible, too. You might get people who played Horizon Zero Dawn, and then 3 years later, it's like, it comes out on PC, and it's like, I have a good enough PC. Do I feel like playing that again? Maybe I would play it again after 3 years.
Well, because I heard it looks better, right? Obviously. Like,
yeah, like, I wouldn't want to play The Witcher 3 on, like, PS4 or whatever, and then it came out on, this is just hypothetical, and then 2 months later it came out on PC. I would not want to play that game over again after 2 months gap.
Yeah,
is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I mean, a 3-year gap, there's you could potentially get more sales for sure. And I don't mean more sales from new purchasers. I mean people rebuying the game for PC. So I guess if they could find more developers that are willing to do ports. I'm like I said, I think there should be a good enough gap for people to wait. I mean, go out and buy the system. It's a great system, great place to be.
Well, that's like, I don't know, that's my main thing. That's how I feel it's going down. They just want you to play it, and then you're hooked, and you just don't want to wait another 4 years for the sequel. Mm-hmm. And you see PlayStation 5 already has it, and maybe you go buy a PS5.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, it works in so many different ways. Or it's just the same guy buying it again and wants to see it a little update. He's like, well, I felt like playing it anyway, and you're telling me it might look a little better here anyway.
Oh, it comes with ray tracing now?
So now now you're double dipping on the same boy. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But you're doing it in like a nice way, not just an EA way.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not for it, not against it. But if they get other studios for first-person or first-party titles, that's good too.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to article number 8.
Who's ready for Final Fantasy 16? In news that barely makes for news, we have heard that the placeholder account for Final Fantasy 16 has surfaced on Twitter. Placeholder accounts are very common, and it doesn't mean that we'll hear anything from Square Enix anytime soon. It's important to note that we haven't seen a proper Final Fantasy game released since Final Fantasy 15, which came out back in November 2016. So the company is definitely due to start making another addition to the franchise, but with the current track record the company has for releasing titles, we're confident we won't be seeing anything this year or in 2021 or forever for that matter.
I wonder if we should get Twitter placeholders for like 18, 19, 20.
Why not, right? Like,
and then just sell it.
But the problem is the codes. Like I read the placeholder for this one is a little different than they normally do.
Oh, okay.
And they said so they're not sure if it's 100% like going to be like for this specifically or if it's going to get changed to something else. But then another guy made note that like the Twitter handle that's crazy for Final Fantasy 14 is their legit official account. Just they could be kind of doing like you know a little future proofing.
Right.
So yeah, that's I don't know. It's barely news, but I'm excited. I'm ready for.
I'm ready for a new one.
Because 15 was like, I know it had development hell, but like it was close to being like one of my favorite ones. Like I just wish it would have had the full story. Like you can tell there's things that are ripped out of there, but it had pretty good gameplay. There's some choices that were rough, but like I would still rate it above a lot of other ones.
Mm-hmm. I had lots of fun with it.
I love it way more than Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and I'm a Final Fantasy 7 guy, but it was so freaking linear and just bad gameplay and everything else. I was like, if you would have given me Final Fantasy 15's battle system with 7, I probably would have enjoyed it more too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I enjoyed 15 quite a bit. The open world stuff was great. Even the linear part wasn't as bad at the beginning until you get to the place that everybody hates. But I mean, whatever. Yeah, I mean, the overall story, yeah, there's parts where it feels rushed a bit at the end for sure.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know. I haven't played the Royal Edition. I know it adds a little padding, but I don't know if it's enough.
I just think it was enough. It was like I'm not gonna say too little, too late, but it was too late.
Yeah.
Like the damage was done. Some of it was irreversible. So it's just like they did, I think, what they could and made those episodes. And I've heard good things from those people about the episodes, but I just never want to go back. I'm like, no, you did a lot of dirty here. Like even, I don't know, I think I bring it up all the time, but like you released the Final Fantasy 15 movie and you were like, oh, this will give you some like context for the game. And then it never even matched because like, again, they had to scrap so much for the game.
Yeah, it just wasn't as meshed well together.
Not at all.
The DLCs were fine. I had never played the more recent one, Arden. I mean, releasing a tiny I don't assume it's tiny, but it's probably tiny. A tiny DLC, like however many years it's been since the game came out, is like how many people are going back to playing that? And then it had the multiplayer kind of expansion, sort of standalone thing, which I played briefly a little bit of it.
The mobile game chibi version.
Oh yeah, there's that version too. Yeah.
Oh, there's so much stuff. The animated series that just had a few episodes.
We need a new one.
Yes,
but I don't know. They're gonna screw it up.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like already, I'm like, what are they gonna do? Is it gonna be too much like Kingdom Hearts 3? Because that's technically kind of their latest Final Fantasy, in my opinion.
Except without
any of the Final Fantasy characters.
Yeah, damn.
God, they ruined that game, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Not big news, but something. This week's just not been a big week for news, honestly. Like, I think
should we make up a bonus 9th article about Madden 21?
We could do that, or we make a bonus article 10 talking about what the hell is going on with the future consoles. Like, how have we not heard anything?
Oh, it's so frustrating. Like,
it's September. I didn't even think it was possible to get this far.
They've sent out another email this week saying, hey, go, like, it's just marketing for the next console, but there's still no price, no date, no nothing. It's like, why you guys keep spamming us?
They released another YouTube video, too, like, all about the PS5. Oh, get ready for this touch and that. I'm like, dude, you can't.
We know.
Yeah, well, I know, exactly. Like, who doesn't know?
Who are you advertising to? The average consumer? Like the average consumer like knows about it, but they don't care enough to know the finer details about it. Like
and they're not going to pre-order. Like there's no guy that's watching like Sunday Night Football who's like, I love football and nerds and video games. And then suddenly it's like they go to YouTube and there's like, oh, look at this PS5. Oh, maybe I'm going to get it, you know?
I'll go buy that.
It's like, if you guys would have told me, but I didn't know until I saw the video. I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. Like, it's like the people that are in the know are in the know. You're listening to podcasts like this or YouTube videos of other people talking about it. And you know, you're waiting and you're just like, okay, like, dude, you're like a little over 2 months from release. Not by much. Like, honestly, in a week, we're, like, dead on from what I believe is the launch.
And it's not just PlayStation. It's Xbox, too. They're sitting, I mean, less hype, I think, for the Xbox, even from Xbox fans.
Yeah.
Since everything's kind of spiraling for them. But it's just, like, give us something. I mean, we're me and Steve here, we're sitting here with you guys all waiting. Like, it's just, as soon as we hear something, we'll let you know. But, like, I'm
just constantly flabbergasted. At the end of every week, I'm always like, yeah, like we still
nothing.
Like not even an announcement about like look for it, like or save the date, almost like a wedding of like save the date for this like Thursday or something, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm so confused and like scared of like why this is happening. Like
it's gonna make the pre-orders even worse.
it is
Because like they've already been setting expectations like, oh, pre-orders are gonna be crazy. There's a chance you're not gonna get it.
Yeah.
Well, they're making that true, but in the fact that they're taking so long for us to get the details to actually pre-order this sucker. The longer they wait to the window, they're making the fact that it's gonna be true. Like we're not gonna get it because the pre-order date's gonna be 5 days before the release date.
well, and I was just about to joke about that. So you literally have to go to the store the day before it releases.
I'd like to pre-order that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's tomorrow. Just come tomorrow. It's like,
he's like, I'd like to pre-order that PS5 console, and they're like, okay, here you go. They're like, oh shit. It's like
thanks.
yeah, the pre-order date and the fucking release date are the same date. Like, go figure. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm super just frustrated. Like, I'm just frustrated. Like, not that like I guess I need to know. Like, I know I'm getting it, but like I would like to know if I am going to get it this year.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
The date's getting
like not even that I'm suggesting it. Like they're going to like postpone the launch, but just like, is it going to, like you said, create such a fury of people rushing, setting stores on fire, rioting, and then like we're just going to be so far in this list that we just don't get it until 2021.
Yeah,
and I would be pissed. I don't understand what's going on. The pissing contest, like please. And then yeah, Madden, you know more about this than me.
I mean, I'm not a big sports guy, and it's for this exact reason. Like from what I've been seeing, Madden 21, it's out. People are still finding all the same problems that they've had for every year in the last 5 years. Same glitches. There's so many glitches online of like clipping, the whole world disappears into a white light and then comes back. Players disappearing, the ball fumbling above their head while they're running down the field. So hilarious glitches, hilarious stuff. And it's just people have found images of the Madden 20 logos. They left those in again.
Oh
yeah.
My god.
They're I think in practice mode there's like a water cooler or something way off to the side, but it's got Madden 20 logo, not 21. Like, how do you let that slip by again? You guys are so freaking useless. Like,
well,
come on.
I don't want to like. I want to change the narrative. Like, it's EA demanding that these same publishers create whole games in 1 year, and no one can just, well, at least in my understanding, can start over and make a whole new game without copying over assets, right? And that's why they need to do what Call of Duty does. If you're going to keep doing this, make multiple teams start at different times.
See, this is why I come to my theory. Here's my theory. The best strategy ever. You ready for it? You ready for this? I've been thinking about Madden as a live service. Would that not work? Like, that's the perfect game for that model. Because it updates every year, update the rosters.
Yep.
Make people pay for yearly season pass. Maybe not full price like normal, which everybody's doing now anyway.
Yeah.
So they're going out and buying every Madden game with the exact same faces, exact same moves, exact same glitches. Make it a freaking live service game that they can actually take their time and not worry about the next one, because I don't even know if they worry about the next one, because I've seen some comments from developers and it's like the I think it was Google where they had a rating of 2 out of 10 or something, or 2 out of 5 stars or something. And the developer was like, well, at least it's better than 1. It's like, oh my God, you guys don't care. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not a sports guy, but people are fans of this stuff. So do it right. Like, they have the same faces, the same, it's just horrible. It's just horrible of all the stuff I'm seeing. And it's just, come on. They added a new mode called the Yard, which actually has a character generator for once, but it's like the most basic character generator, like, ever. Like, very basic. I was watching a video where they're adjusting the thickness of their thighs, and you put it on max and it kind of, the leg flickers and it's like, did it change? And then they put it on medium or minimum or whatever, and it's like, it flickers and it's like, did it change? It's like, like, why is this even as an option if you don't actually make it change something? So I don't know. I'm like, I would be more interested in the sports game if it was, I think a live service would work. I really do think, because then they could spend time on it, update it. People wouldn't have to rebuy all their packs for Ultimate Teams, which everybody hates.
I know it's EA losing money, so like
they would
lose their mind, just the thought alone. But for me, I'm just like, not even games of a service. I say like, just basically in my head, like every other year, just like you said, not the live service thing, but just more like you pay for a $60 patch and it's all the new rosters.
Mm-hmm.
You get to, yes, you keep the same game, but, and like, you're going to lose like, I don't know, the $20 or, you know, whatever. But,
or you could even have an option where it says what season or what year do you want to play, right? I want to play I want to play 2019 year with those stats, but pay $20 to get that upgrade.
And then like the second year, release the new game.
Yep.
And then it's like, now you have a full new game. You don't have to worry about that crap. Hopefully things could actually be like problem solved and trouble.
But that's the problem. Like, are they not having enough time like in their heads? Because they're constantly punting these things out. Like they're just, just release the game as Madden. Don't put a year after it.
Yeah.
And just constantly update that sucker. If you want to make people pay for updated stats, but then actually patch the game, because it's like, they're not patching the game. People are seeing the same bugs in the last 5 versions of the game.
They're probably working like mad right now just to try to start on 22 to see.
They got to copy image files over so that it says the right ones. I don't know. It's just, I know I'm getting a little worked up on this one.
But it's not just you, right? Like,
oh no, and other sports games have the same problem. Maybe not as bad as Madden, but they're there.
But my point is, like, you know, it's not just you. Currently, that I'm aware of, I think Metacritic user score is like a 0.3 or even less.
They brought it down to that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, I think it might be the new record for the lowest.
It is.
Yeah.
It's the record lowest.
So then obviously it's not you. Like, this is a real problem. People are being asked to spend, like, fans, and that's the thing. Like, I'm a little distant on this one because, like yourself, I'm not a sports fan. But I understand what being passionate about something means to someone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's disheartening to hear that some guy just spent, you know, hard-earned money, $60, and it's just a riddled mess.
There's 4 different types of currencies in the game. There's the coins where you earn, sorry, I'm just bringing things, remembering as there's coins, which is like a currency you earn while playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
There's, I can't remember what they call them all, but there's like a green currency, which is where you pay cash. It was the highest one, I think, was $90 for 12,000 credits or something. But then if you go to the store, there's actually an item that costs 12,000. And then there was, I think it was like S1 currency, which I'm guessing is a seasonal currency. So that means they're probably going to lose the value of the currency every time between changes. And then there was a training points currency, which I'm not sure what that was either. That could be in-game earned. I'm not sure.
This is surprising, too, because these are the same people who make FIFA, and that's not terribly ridden with microtransactions at all either. I always hear people...
Well, and then the Ultimate Team, people got to stop spending money on those card packs.
I know.
Like, I understand they are... And that's the problem. They're paying for stuff that actually benefits the game. Like, it makes their characters actually better in the game. And it's like, people shouldn't have to pay for that shit.
No.
It's just horrible.
Yeah.
I want to see a good sports game that I could... I'm not going to play it. Probably not. But I'd like to see my friends that play sports games actually be excited about a good sports game.
Well, I agree, because I'm not like a sports guy, but I have played some sport games. Like, I enjoy, I don't get them every year or anything, but every once in a while I'm like, oh, I bought, like, I can't remember the last one, but it was an NHL EA game, and like, it was enjoyable.
16 maybe?
I think it was before, like, super riddled with microtransactions, but it was fun enough, and you know, I have siblings that are into that stuff, so it's just like, I can play with them.
Make it a live service. Like, I mean, like, there's so many features in all the Madden games. They add a cool feature, and then the next game, the feature's totally gone. And then a different game, a different feature. It's like, we make it a live service. You can do, like, how Destiny's doing it. They're, like, literally removing content from the game. Throw a new feature and see how people are liking and responding to it. If you want to put a freaking microtransaction with that type of whatever that event is, sure, do it. They'll pay for it, but they won't pay for it.
Well, with the world,
take it away and add something new. Like,
in the world of subscriptions, right? Like, why not? You have EA Play. Why don't you just have another add-on, which is like, if you want your rosters constantly updated,
Madden membership. Yeah. Sure.
Like,
but you got to actually maintain the game. Like, when you're seeing the exact same bug be replicated in last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
There was one video too I saw where they showed like winning the Super Bowl event, like in the game. They had, I think it was 2000, 18, 19, 20, 21, all in each corner of the screen. And it was almost the exact footage in each one. Maybe a slight change in one of them. I think the oldest one was a little bit different. It had to zoomed out a little bit more, but the other ones are exact. People were doing the exact same motions.
Okay, so that's, I think, I don't know, we'll call that
good.
The rant segment of the show.
Article
Weekly
9.5.
rant. Yeah. Like, you know, a big FU to the industry that's effing us back.
People are getting just anxious and they want some news and they just want stuff to be better.
And they want, I think that's a good way to end it. They want news and updates and they want things to get better.
Anyways, we'll move on to homework. This is that segment of the show where we give you some things that didn't quite make it into the show that are maybe worth looking up. You might find them interesting. So we'll get into them. There is news on Division 2. They're adding a 100-floor skyscraper PvE endgame mode. There's more information you can find on IGN.
Project Athia Studio shows off its impressive open world engine. It's just a video. You can find a little bit more on it on IGN as well, or you can just go find it on YouTube. I watched it. It's not a big thing. It literally just looks like an open world engine they're using to be like, okay, we put tree here, and look, we can put river here. And I'm just like, okay, like, great. That doesn't, like, I don't know, nothing about it, like, looked absolutely amazing to me. It wasn't like the Unreal 4 engine, like, gameplay demo thing. But if you want to see what the backgrounds might look like in an upcoming game, hooray!
PS5 developers are discussing the benefits of the SSD and 3D audio. This can also be on IGN. A lot of IGN today.
Resident Evil 8 will be shown during Tokyo Game Show event 2020 online. That one's also on IGN, and surprising to no one, since I believe they're always talked about there at the Tokyo Game Show.
I'm always excited for some Resident Evil news, so this one's got my hype a little bit.
Witches and werewolves.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, that's a big change. Can't wait for more of that, Ethan, as my eyes rolled back into my skull. So yeah, that's it for your homework. Not a lot, like I said, short week, everything's fun, great. That's why we gave you a little fun ranting at the end. But that is it from us for another week. We will see you back next Monday. Just remember, if you liked any of this, like and subscribe, comment. We might read your stuff alone, here, there, I don't know, anywhere. But that's it for us. We're signing off.
See ya.
Bye.
I hate saying the word horror.
Yeah.
Because the way I say it, everybody always thinks I'm saying whore.
Yeah. Well,
horror.
Yeah.
And like, and every time people always look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, but I'm saying it right in my head, and I think I'm saying it right.
Yeah.
Horror. Horror. Sorry, I had to bring it up because I noticed the first time I said it, I in my head I felt like I said it really slow.
It can't be
horror.
Can't be as bad as like someone with a Boston accent.
Oh God.
Couple of whores.
Whores.
Yeah, whores. How does that feel spending $4,000 on your PC to play 30 frames with me, you piece of shit?
You asked for it. I like it. I laugh. So you can see here's 0.27 kill death ratio.
Oh fuck, that's so funny. It's like, but it's running smooth. Good times.
You just know the frame rate's not helping you to get the kills. You just suck.
You just suck. There's no reason you wasted 4,000.
You can't at least maintain a 1.0. You're bringing down the world, man.
Well, I know, and that's always. I remember when I still played Call of Duty. That was always my thing. Like, you better not get under one, because then you're just a detriment to the team. Fuck.
I don't care if you got to play against bots to get that thing up.
Yeah, you gotta fucking pick your shit up, son. You know, it'd be so funny if you get the new Call of Duty and then you just hit install and it's the exact as Warzone, and you're just like, damn it!
It just installs Warzone.
Yeah, that'd be awesome
with a new skin, with a new title screen.
Yeah,
but the new title screen's another 50 gigs.
Yeah, and it's like, and then for another $15, you can get Battle Pass Season 3. Yeah. Oh Jesus.